And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and I have quite a few reviews coming up over the next month or so. And what I want to do in this video is to give you a little bit of a preview of some of the reviews and some first thoughts on some of the games that I'll be doing a full review of over the next month or so. So there's 5 games I want to talk about. Here we go. First of all, the Dwarves. Now this is a cooperative game with the theme of dwarves. You are essentially trying to connect tunnels under the earth and accomplish different missions while these bad guys are coming in and you can fight them off. I don't know that I've played a more boring cooperative game in a long time. This one just did not work for me. The components were meh at best. I mean, it's not like the title of the game is really helping. The Dwarves. But the theming wasn't there much at all. We're used to seeing these games now where something bad happens and you do something good. The problem was the good in this often involved rolling dice consistently and throughout the game. Not easy rolls to make too, and at the end of the game you felt, well, I guess I was just lucky or unlucky. Then the King of All Bards. Now, this is a very gorgeous production, really high quality. I was pretty impressed by it. The main point of this one is that you're trying to become the King of All Bards. This one also includes rolling dice quite a bit over the course of the game. And you are singing songs and such. Each person has their own specialized deck. And all the song titles are parodies, and so the whole point of the game is that humor aspect of, who let the bards out or something like that. All the song titles are parodies of actual songs, and if you really get into that, you'll enjoy it. There is a very strong take that element to the game. There's a very strong luck factor to the game. The game is very, very light. I enjoyed it because of the theme and the song parody titles. The game itself is okay at best. Cooper Island. This is a very big, grandiose game. I know a lot of people were looking forward to this one. I was about to start describing the theme, but I'm not even sure there's a very strong theme in this game at all. It has a unique scoring where you're actually sailing around the island, and basically how far you sail is your points in a sense of the game. The game actually has very few points. The game is all about getting this engine going, money, and other things that you're placing out on the board. But I found that I did not enjoy this one as much as I wanted to, if only because it felt like a slog the whole time. Like, oh, money, really tight. Well, I'm going to do this to get money and move over here. And while the ideas and the actions were interesting, I felt like the game was just starting to come together, and then it ended. And it was a long game to get a few points. And for me, this kind of Euro game where I feel like I'm working really hard the whole game and just scratching at the wall to get anything, it just didn't do anything for me. I know some people like it. I'm not one of those. La Stanza. This game is about musicians, and just art in general, which I thought was a really cool theme. Unfortunately, the theme in this game is non-existent. You are basically moving around this rondel, landing in a spot, taking actions in that spot based on different things that you've collected beforehand and moving on tracks. And at the end of the day, I'm very disappointed by 1, that the theme is not there, but 2, again, it just has a very boring concept. The game just keeps going and going, and you're trying to build and collect sets and do things to get points, and it never feels like it takes off. It never feels like you're making really strategic choices because you look and you can move a certain distance and collect things, and you're like, well, this makes no sense to go here, or I guess I'll go here. I never felt like I was making really good, tough, interesting choices. On the other hand, from the same publisher, Terramara was amazingly cool. This one has a frontier type theme where you're going out and discovering stuff. Again, the theme isn't very strong in this game, but this game is extremely fascinating as a worker placement game. And in this game, you place workers in different spots to get resources and use these resources to move up on tracks and do things. And I will say, on the very first playthrough, halfway through, I was thinking I really disliked the game because the game is pretty mean. There's some aspects, there's a military track, and you can go to a spot and really stop someone else from going there unless they have a higher military than you. So you can, that feels that way, but there are ways around that. And what's really fascinating about this game is there's amazing spaces that you can put your thing on to get a lot of resources. But some of the spaces don't unlock your workers till different rounds, and some will never unlock your workers. So I could jump all the way to the bottom, take some great resources, and I'll never see that worker again. Is that worth it? And that kind of tough choices, added to the fact that this game is going to play differently every time due to a different setup, really found this fascinating. You can go heavy on the military, you can go heavy on this exploration track. There is a lot going on in this one, and I really enjoyed the puzzle and all the workers and just how it fit together. But that idea of taking something now and sacrificing a worker for it, maybe not getting it back for a turn or two, or never, just put this one over the top. It's one of my favorite worker placement games I've played in a while. All right, I'll have full reviews of these games coming up in the future. These are just some first looks at them. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.